This is Tate with Train to Win. Welcome back to another educational video. Again, by the title, you guys can tell what we're about to get into. This video is going to be my top 3 favorite exercises for any form of linear speed. Linear speed meaning any form of straight line running. So with these, I don't want you to take it into the context that these are the tried and true movements. This is my personal coaching opinion and what I have found to be the most effective for a lot of my athletes. With these, there are certain training and programming principles and properties that we utilize within these different exercises in order to effectively program them, but that's a different video for a different time. We're just going to go over the 3 exercises that I feel are the best in progressing any form of linear speed or any form of linear movements in general. So first thing, this one is going to be kind of a super simple, but anytime you're trying to get better at any given thing, the best thing to do is train that specific thing. So if you're trying to become a better swimmer, you probably should swim more often. So in this case, my top one exercise for any form of linear speed is training linear speed, linear running. So finding an open field, open track, open turf, and doing some sprinting, doing some running in a straight line. Simple as that. How you program these is going to depend on the athlete themselves and their given training level. So in order to get better at sprinting, you must sprint more often. But when it comes to weight training and strength and conditioning itself, there are a couple exercises that I feel are best. So in order to understand linear progression itself, we must understand the muscles that actually drive linear progression. And primarily, to move ourselves forward, the prime movers are going to be the posterior chain or the muscles that are behind us. So this is going to be glutes, hammies, it's going to be a little bit of the lower back, it's going to be some of our lats, pumping our arms into that position. So those are going to be the main focus muscle groups for training overall. We got a lot of calf work with our running as well. So first movement we're going to get into is going to be called a single leg contralateral RDL. With these guys, don't let the name deceive you. The name is super long and complex. The exercise itself is not. So basically, we got the single leg movement down, knowing that we're going to be on one leg. Contralateral means loading the inverse of the other. So if I'm going to load my left leg, that means I'm going to contralaterally load my right side. So left leg, right arm, right leg, left arm. That's contralateral. An RDL stands for Romanian deadlift, which is almost a straight leg deadlift, a deadlift with a slight bend in the knee. So now that we can combine all those given terms, break down the movement itself, we can execute our single leg contralateral RDL. There's a couple things we must pay attention to in order to execute this movement. First thing is dumbbell positioning. With this, I want the knuckles of the hand holding the dumbbell to be over the toes of the foot that's loaded on the ground. So in this case, left leg, right hand, right knuckles are over the left toes. Now from here, I'm going to initiate the movement with my back leg, not my chest. So I'm staying nice and upright in my posture, keeping my knuckles over my toes. Now I have this leg floating off the ground. I'm going to think about kicking the back wall with this leg. Kick the back wall, the chest will fall. And then with that, that dumbbell is going to go just past the kneecap and drive it right back up into position. Down and up. These are a difficult movement. It takes time to master these. So make sure you take the proper progressions in order to do these effectively, or lighten the load, practice it before you actually load yourself up. That is our contralateral RDL. Exercise number 3. Anytime we're looking at training the running speed itself again, linear progression, posterior chain is going to be our big focus. So since we just got into a single leg variation, I'm going to get into what we call a bilateral variation, which means we're involving both legs into the movement itself. So anytime we do some sort of hip hinge, what a hip hinge looks like is literally this type of motion. When you see the hips hinging at the base of the femur, base of the leg here. So this can be a various amount of movement, or a vast variety of movements that we can do, ranging from squats to box step ups to you name it. There's all kinds of different movements that we can do. and a lot of them do play a role more so depending on the athlete themselves. Again, this video is going to be a broad spectrum. This isn't the given case for every single individual, but one movement that I especially like to program for any form of linear speed is going to be a Romanian deadlift itself. So we just did a single leg Romanian deadlift. Now we're going to get into a regular Romanian deadlift with a barbell. So with these guys, we can load up depending on how much our programming prescribes us to do. We're going to take our bar about shoulder width, grabbing on, stepping ourselves back, getting a solid base with our feet about shoulder width apart, and we're going to initiate the movement with the hips themselves. So what this RDL is going to look like is just like this, maintaining a nice straight back, keeping your head nice and neutral. A lot of individuals like to look up as they do this. This is a big no-no. Get your head neutral. Anytime we're driving that chin high, that low back likes to arch. That's going to make your low back so tight. So keep your head neutral and you'll feel it in the glutes and the hamstrings, which is where we want to feel the movement. Anytime we're performing the RDL itself, as you guys may have seen within that video, I was loading my hips almost to the point to where I can float my toes. So I'm sitting it back into the heels, driving my butt back. And one of the best analogies I've heard to help learn the RDL is thinking about somebody tying a rope around your waist, around your hips, and they're yanking that rope straight back. So imagine there's a rope around my waist, somebody's behind me, yanking that rope straight back. That is our RDL. So this video, to restate, has been my top 3 favorite exercises to program for any form of linear progression. Again, this can vary from athlete to athlete, and it also can vary from coach to coach. With that being said, hope you guys learned something new within this video. If you aren't already executing these 3 main movements and you want to become a faster athlete when it comes to straight line running or any form of speed overall, I highly recommend implementing these into your program or asking your coach if you can implement these within your program itself. Again, this has been Tate with Train to Win. Thank you for watching.